Hello and welcome to the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series USA Nationals Loser Bracket Final. I am Mr. Bitter.
And I'm Rob Simpson. We're about to watch Daisuki battle it out with Insur. Now the winner here is going to be able to make their way into the grand finals. They're going to have a guaranteed $3,000 minimum and a shot at that $12,000 grand prize. And also a chance to earn that seed into the global finals that'll happen later this year. So there's a lot on the line here.
So when we sat down and looked at the player list for the USA Nationals, did you say, I think we're going to see Daisuki versus Insur in the losers bracket final?
That was not what I said.
No?
But man, Insur has made quite the showing here. Also Daisuki doing very well.
Who are they going to meet in the upper bracket?
Vibe in the grand finals.
Wow, very impressive stuff. So
yeah, Vibe did really well.
Vibe's been playing great StarCraft. Let's not sell him short, but I didn't expect to see him there.
Well, you know what? That's how it works.
We're just all about exceeding expectations.
Right, yes.
And exciting.
And that's exactly what he did. I was just saying,
you're trying to finish my
exciting
X word?
outcome. Yeah. I was doing my best to finish your sentence. Didn't work out. So game number 1 of the series is going to happen on Ohana, ladies and gentlemen. So down here in the lower right-hand corner of the map, playing is the Red Zerg. Playing for Team Nitrix, Daisuki.
Daisuki. Possibly Daisuke.
Daisuke. Very possible.
We'll just never know.
Now his opponent over here playing for Team Infinity 7. This is Insur. He'll be playing as the blue Protoss here. Now they have played earlier in the event, if we're not mistaken. And being that this is the World Championship Series, there is no extended series, so they get a fresh start moving into this.
It is a best of 3, if I'm not mistaken, to see who moves on. And I just want to say this. I don't know much about Nitrix, but Infinity 7, one of the most underrated teams in the foreign scene. They are so good. They have so many very talented North American players, and Insur just showing that this IS team is a force to be reckoned with. He's probably not their best player, or maybe he probably wouldn't say that he's their best player. They got guys like J Echo, Grandmaster Protoss, Zerg player, who frequently takes games off some of the best guys in the world.
Oh. Actually, just kidding. These players definitely did not play against each other. Mystic was the one that knocked down Daisuki, and then Insur later played Mystic.
Forgive me then, Rob, for getting that wrong.
That's okay.
It's looking like a Nexus first opening for the Protoss player. He's got that pylon on the low ground, hasn't built anything yet, and 14 pool, and very possibly a 16 hatch if whoops, I don't know why that happened.
Well. Well, Mr. Bitter.
What was that on the screen, man?
Oh, dear.
What the hell was that?
All right, so back to the match. We see that now the Nexus has been laid down. He did opt for throwing down that Forge first, directly before planting his Nexus. And over here we see Daisuki saving up a few of those minerals. Has not sent the drone down just yet. Oh, and now the race begins. We've got the probe and the drone looking neck and neck. Oh, and the probe just barely pulls out ahead.
He's a little bit faster, but I do not think he's going to want to put that pylon down. The lings are already out. The pylon would not delay the hatch very long at all. And hatch does go down unimpeded. The Overlord of Daisuki sees that the Nexus is there. He'll probably respond to this with another very fast base. At least that's what I would do, Rob, if I were the Zerg player.
And Mr. Bitter, I mean, with your ever-flowing knowledge.
With my ever-mediocre Zerg skills. Yeah, the drone is down here at the third base, though, so at least Daisuki and me think alike for the first 4 minutes of the game. It's going to be a 3-base Zerg against a 2-base 2-gas Protoss, so we could see some tech from Insur. It's a pretty fast 2-gas. That Nexus in the natural just now finishing. One thing that Insur's doing that I think is pretty darn cool, he fully saturates his main mineral line and then rallies to the natural, which, according to people that like to crunch the numbers and do the math, is the most efficient way to saturate 2 bases.
Well, I guess well,
the numbers have been crunched, Rob.
All right, well then there it is. So Insur playing the most efficient game of StarCraft 2 possible. Mr. Bitter said it first, right here in the World Championship Series.
At least for the first 5 minutes, man, he's doing a great job. Sending out this second probe. Daisuki immediately spots it, and he's going to chase it down Won't be able to stop it from scouting his third base, but he will be able to keep any sneaky pylons from going up, which is very important. I love this. Patrolling a Zergling right over here outside the fourth base, or I guess inside the fourth, wherever the fourth base is going to be for Daisuki. He's going to be able to keep pylons from going up and keep probes from sneaking in from that angle as well.
Yeah, and you can actually see there that it's working great. Insur was planning on keeping his probe over there for a little bit, did not have a further move command issued, and now we see a Stargate coming out of Insur.
I like this follow-up a lot. I think Ohana is one of the few maps where Stargate openings are still really strong. There's a big distance, from the natural to the third base, believe it or not, and it's kind of hard to connect these two with creep. It takes a long time to kill this destructible rock, so a Void Ray and a couple of Phoenixes can be very, very frustrating at this third base. So I kind of think that's what we're going to see out of Insur. Daisuki is already on 3 queens. Has he put down an Evo chamber yet? I don't think he has. He's getting that first Roach one. But as soon as he becomes hip to this Stargate opening, I promise you he will drop that Evo chamber, maybe make a couple more queens. And it'll be difficult for Insur to do much damage to that third. Again, catching another probe that was sent out. So Insur might actually be thinking about supporting this Void Ray with some gateway units, as we do see more gateways being added. Zealots coming up to support.
And over here, Daisuki's been doing a great job with his Overlord placement. Oh, man, but does not get over to the probe in time. The pylon has been placed. Now, there's only 7 lings over here.
Not going to be enough to deal with these 2 Zealots and the probe.
Oh, and there's another pylon being laid down on the right side as well. So as we see, Daisuki put all of his focus over there onto the left forward pylon. Hell, maybe knocking on his door very soon from the other angle. We also see, oh wow, and actually in the natural there hasn't been a single spine crawler laid down there. The only spine crawler is being made in the third.
Yeah, and there's very little being added to defend against the Stargate stuff that Daisuki's still not aware of.
Oh, but he is now. We see that Overlord moving in the main, so he does get over there and finds out that the Stargate is on the way. First Phoenix already on its way across the map as well. Oh, and the Void Ray is already down here wreaking havoc, taking down its first Overlord kill.
Got the 1 Overlord kill. Immediately Spore Crawlers being added, Roaches going into production. This is going to be a very, very strong 2-base play out of Insur. And what, oh, beautiful warp in on the high ground. Zealots going to harass the main as Zealots also come down into the third base. There's a spine crawler there, but it is not going to live long against this many fighting Protoss psychopaths.
And now so the multi-pronged assault does continue. You can see those Zealots destroying drones left and right up in the main. And now Insur's doing what he can out at the natural, but the Roach and Link count is just far too high for him to really deal with. And now he's going to be in a difficult situation. Daisuki is going to be able to pull back to his Spores, although we can see him actually engaging down at that ramp, and he's just losing Roaches left and right to this Void Ray. The charge is gaining up, and he pulls back.
Actually, Daisuki's doing an okay job if he can deal with this this Void Ray, but the additional Zealot Warpins are doing a ton of damage. Only 5 drones have been killed, though. And with these 3 queens here working overtime, for now, Daisuki has bought himself some space and some freedom. 1 Void Ray, 4 Phoenix is the only real units that are out on the map for Insur. He hasn't been able to take a third base because Daisuki very cleverly dropping creep there. And I think he's done a beautiful job. Insur looks to be in a little bit of trouble, Rob. He just doesn't have much of a ground army, and he's lost the ability to really pressure his opponent.
Yeah, and these Phoenixes aren't going to be able to do a terribly large amount. We can see those 2 queens now out there killing off that pylon. There's not a whole lot of room for him to really make these Phoenixes worth it as the game continues. He's going to use them potentially in combination with that Void Ray, maybe pick up a few units wherever he can. There he is, lifting off a few of those drones.
Daisuki's going to throw down a Hydralisk in. I'm not sure how crazy I am about that choice because ultimately Hydras still do very poorly against Colossi, and the Robotech's already starting to roll for Insur, although it's going to be a while before Colossi really hit the field. So maybe a Hydra timing could work. There's a lot of Lings in production and some upgrades going down.
He's been playing the Heart of the Swarm playable out on the floor. Loving them Hydralisks.
They're looking really good in Heart of the Swarm, man. I'm kind of eager to play it some more. I went out there to play Heart of the Swarm a while ago, and then like a bunch of people came up to me. They're like, "Oh, hi, Mr. Bitter," and they like wanted to talk and stuff, and I didn't get to play. And I was like secretly really.
Oh, woe was me.
I was secretly really sad about it. I pretended to be happy.
Oh man, and now this Void Ray over here. There are 3 queens out here. That Void Ray, is not being focused. All of the Phoenixes lift off each of the queens individually. The Void Ray is going to be able to do work on that first one, but are they going to land in time? Does not get off the transfuse.
Yeah, queens are going to go ahead and fall. Void Ray will kill all of the queens. Zergling threatening to counter here.
Big surround onto a few of these stalkers, but the wall is just too strong. Yeah. Insur is prepping to take that third base.
Hydras do pop out, and as it happens, the Hydralisks were actually an okay choice, as they do kill the Void Ray and usher out this pressure. Still, Daisuki pulling on more aggression at the third base, or the third potential expansion of Insur. He hasn't been able to get that Nexus down just yet. He saw the Hydras and immediately starts thermal range, extended thermal lance, and starts his first Colossus. So has to prepare for the Hydras.
Now Insur staying active, laid down another forward pylon there over on the right side, used the Phoenixes to warp into the main, and he's killing a few drones, not too many though, out in the main, and now we can see those Phoenixes killing a few more Overlords. Oh, he's got the hold position on the Zealots, but the Lings get there to clean it up.
These guys playing a pretty good game. Lots of action happening around the map just constantly. Zealots in the main are going to get cleaned up. These Phoenixes still being annoying though, and they will allow another high ground warp in if Daisuki doesn't deal with that pylon very quickly. Fourth base going down for our Zerg player. Third base going down for our Protoss player. And on paper, that means these guys are kind of even, especially if you take into account the drone numbers. There's only 70 drones out and 60 probes, so that's not that bad for Protoss.
Yeah, Insur's been doing a good job staying in there, but unfortunately he's sacrificing just about all of his Phoenixes to Daisuki.
Yeah, that's a painful loss there. Those Phoenixes give a lot of map control, give a lot of potential harass. We've already seen him using them for high ground vision and warp ends, although that pylon has been dealt with, so there will be no more of that. Daisuki right now is going to add Corruptors, I guess, in preparation for the Colossus switch that he's forced by making these Hydras. So that's pretty smart. He's spending his money so fast, though. He has so little cash because he's been so on top of the macro.
That's right. He doesn't want any of that float. So Insur's getting brave, moving out into the center. Of course, Daisuki feeling the same. Now moving up here, he is going to be forced into an engagement. Is he going to pull back or will he commit? Oh, he sees the Colossi and decides now is not the time. He's getting a couple more Corruptors in play as he continues the Roach production. His Carapace upgrade just wrapped up. Missiles soon to follow, just in time for this engagement. Now he's trying to get us around and take down the Colossi in the back, but it seems as though he just does not have enough to deal with the force that is out here.
The excellent force fields by Insur, but he just doesn't have enough. Daisuki macroing so well. 150 supply against 100. 12 Roaches, more Corruptors also on the way.
Colossi go down.
These Stalkers show up, and they may actually clean up these ground forces, but not before all the Colossi die. Only one Immortal remains. But these 11 Roaches and the additional Hydras and Zerglings that are about to pop out will take away any map presence that Insur has.
Insur responding by throwing down several cannons out at his third base. Something you actually don't see terribly often.
Yeah, it functions as a great mineral dump, and a lot of times Protoss players find themselves spending all of their gas and having a little bit of a mineral buildup, so cannons are not a bad choice. Makes it hard to attack into those expansions. Now, Daisuki hasn't thrown down the Infestation Pit yet. He hasn't moved up towards Hive, and that's a big, big deal. He's done a great job of killing a lot of things, meaning the army.
Yeah, but he hasn't continued on that tech path that he's really going to need to win the late game. And I'm pretty surprised to see that. We do see the Stalkers already have Blink, right? So he doesn't have Fungal as an answer to that either.
Yeah, and you know, Roach Hydra is okay against gateway stuff, and the Colossus number is not that high, but the Corruptor number also not that high. And we are going to see a little bit of a fight. Good force fields once again by Insur. Colossus immediately starts taking some damage, but with Blink Stalkers and cannons to fall back to.
I don't know. That's a lot for Daisuki. Now pushing forward, taking down those cannons on the right side. Insur doing what he can to hold on the left. And this may be stopped. We see the constant swarm of units. Oh, yes, Colossi goes down, and now Insur has been pressed against the wall as the remaining force of his army looks like it's going to dwindle away. But no, the Warpins are getting in just in time.
He's
to hold this for a little bit longer.
There, using every single unit he has. That Immortal's going to fall. One Immortal remains. It will pound away at these Roaches for a while longer. And Insur may have stemmed the flow of units for now, but there are more Roaches in production. Daisuki 150 supply, Insur 114. And the question on my mind, can he hold another push like the last one?
Yeah, Daisuke's trying to stay in this. Now continuing, he is hell-bent on taking down this third base, just trying to push through again. The warp gates are about to die. Oh man, force fielded away from the Colossi, so that's going to be able to stay effective here in this fight. Now Daisuke is just bringing in so many more units as Insur claws and hangs on to the last thread of his life.
I'm really impressed with Insur's ability to just hang on. Once again, he does hold. It's just 114 or so supply left over, but Daisuke is just macroing so hard. These force fields not as good as the last ones. A lot of roaches are through, and they will do some good damage. Great blink control by Insur, but he's losing sentries. The Stalkers, though, do once more force the roaches back, and again, it's 114 supply still for Insur. Daisuke at about 150 now.
Now Daisuke's been in a situation where, he could have had enough time to just max and have a little bit more, but he keeps kind of pushing with that pre-maxed army.
Yeah.
And once again, we still see that there's no infestation pit out on the field. And I mean, he's not a single step closer towards getting that hive tech that would make this engagement so much more favorable.
He's also got 70 drones and no saturation at his fourth base, which surprises me. He should be able to get some more workers, you know, mining over there. But he's instead going to perhaps oversaturate a couple of his other bases. 194 supply right now for Daisuke against 130 of Insur. Daisuke's still making corruptors, and Insur has backed off the Colossus production quite a bit, but man, there's so many Roach Hydra Ling. He's going to need perfect control in force fields here. Those are pretty good ones.
Yeah, keeps out a large portion of the army, able to cut off the head of the army, but is it going to be enough to fight through this? Two other warp gates falling, and now the assault continues through. Those corruptors got nothing more to attack because the Colossi are gone, and now the Roach and Hydra army is melting what's left of the Stalkers.
Too many units for Insur to deal with. He's forced to pull probes off the line, and that's never a good feeling. They die so fast to Roaches and Hydras. GG from Insur. Daisuke takes game number 1. Ohana always gives such great games, and that one was no different.
Yeah, Daisuke is now only one game away from making his way into the grand finals of the StarCraft II World Championship Series USA Nationals, where he could potentially have to fight Vibe. So ladies and gentlemen, when we get back, we are going to go into game number 2 between Insur and Daisuke, so don't go anywhere.